I muted myself, not a way to start, but good evening and welcome to THFC Till I Die, your home of Tottenham past, present and future under the mighty Ange Postecoglou as he leads the mighty Tottenham Hotspur to the promised land. I am telling you, he's going to take us there like Moses took his many people from one area to another. It may have taken a few decades to get there, but they got there in the end. It's a bit like Tottenham. Wait a few while for a trophy, we will get there in the end. Ange is our Moses. He will get us there. And joining us tonight on this Tottenham stream, Tottenham transfer stream, all the latest news, views, and speculation. And of course, we're going to end the show on a topic we're going to talk about on Friday night's podcast about Man City and what might be coming down the line. Do you agree? Don't you agree with the punishment? I've got my view. I know TEQUILA has his and Colin has his. So we will get there and find out. But guys, hope you're doing well. TEQUILA, how are you this evening, sir? And I can't hear you. I don't know if it's me or TEQUILA. One or the other.
No, it's me. It's me this time. I muted myself. So that's both of us who have muted ourselves. That's great. That is great stuff. Yeah, I'm all right. Just had a bit of emergency earlier on. I had to rush out, but no, all good. All back in time. All ready to go.
I'm a bit concerned you're wearing red.
I had to rush everything, Dermo. So bless him. I might be able to change him to white, but you have to give him a minute.
I tell you what, we are gonna this with TEQUILA. We're gonna work him into an OBS studio. He will be sitting in the Tottenham studio in the future near you. So watch this.
Yeah,
space.
Just got to work out how to do it.
Yeah. It's quite easy. Welcome a few people chat. Big up to the back of the net. It says evening, guys. Big up to Rosie as well. Big up, Rosie. Smash the likes on the way in. Thank you so much, Rosie. You are such a star. And we've got the Hotspur Lounge. No problem, guys. Big up the Hotspur Lounge. How are you doing, guys? How are you doing? And come on, there's 9 of you in the house. Get your comments in. Where are you watching from? What do you expect? We've got this. I don't know. What would you describe this fella? Really, he's a bit of a Man United fan, isn't he?
This guy's laughing badly because he knows the 2 players that we're circling around, and he's so happy right now. He's literally begging us to take these 2 players because he's laughing his head off. We'll talk about them soon, but
we'll talk about them soon. Big up to Villa 1982, James. UTC. I've heard it's Villa or Napoli for Kulu. I got the very latest on Kulu from Napoli as well, by the way. And a little bit, I've got 2 questions on Kulu, Philip, TEQUILA, which I never got to ask last night. Okay. But thank you for, firstly, a massive thank you for last night. We got good views from last night. We're up on our subscriptions as well. We're on our march to 2K. So I want to say massive thank you to everyone that's liked and subscribed. But if you do, please do hit them Patreon as well. Do pick it up. Do pick up your Patreon because it helps us to improve our channel, to improve the content, to improve everything we do for you guys. And it also gives you access to the fan shows that are happening after the Leicester game. After every game, Tottenham this season, we are going to do a fan show. So please if you get a Patreon, you are guaranteed to get on and have your say.
Remember, Dermo, that we lost our YouTube memberships, guys. So that's one of the main reasons we're doing it is because YouTube took them away from us, not very fairly, but we won't get into that tonight. But
we're still trying to work out why they did that.
They haven't been very helpful, have they?
No, they haven't. And even I've just clicked on the link and I will become a Patreon member later as well. Don't know why, but I just feel I have to. Anyway, shall we start with some breaking news? Colin's just laughing. He says,
of course,
me right now. Of course you are. Just go off and support that small little club in Manchester. There you go. Now, Kulu, it is the name of the Kulusevski to Napoli. Don't count on it. And this is the reason why. Napoli deemed Tottenham's asking price too high at this time. Now, it's around 35 to 40 million euro. And Napoli's saying it's too high. We ain't paying that. But we had the news last night that Aston Villa may be in for him. So, look, I know Philip's stance on it last night and his
He's pretty adamant about it, wasn't he? Yeah.
It roped up a lot of emotion, I think, last night. 24 hours later, what's your thought on it? Look, Kulu for me, right, it's a player that can be very frustrating because when he's on the wing, he keeps cutting in all the time.
Predictable, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very predictable. And then when he plays in the middle, he plays okay for some games. And then if he plays up front, like he did in the last game against Sheffield United, he didn't fit well. And I don't know what Ange can fit him in. So if you can't fit the player in, he doesn't want to be a bit part player or squad player, then you've got to move these players on. We've done it before, TEQUILA, that we've sold players to clubs in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean,
back to Napoli. Do you think the Napoli deal's more realistic than the Villa deal?
Probably not, no, because it's to do with the money. I mean, just like the Hotspur Loungers literally put in what I was about to say, is that when he came in, he was a breath of fresh air, him and Bentancur. And they literally more or less got us top four. I'm not saying that the other players didn't do their part, but their injection of the new faces, in the January transfer window really pushed us on and let us sneak into fourth. But the manager obviously is different and the squad is different and what's expected of Kulu is different. It's a completely opposite way of playing that Conte wanted to play, right? And whereas I think Kulusevski probably fitted Conte's system and Conte generally got the best out of him, I think. Although you could argue that maybe his second season he went off the ball a little bit. He wasn't, because you know what I mean. His first 6 months.
Well, he wasn't the only player to go off the ball. To be fair,
well, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah, a lot
you
of
can blame them. It started from the manager. That's where that started from. And
so
look, we will do a pre-recording this, TEQUILA, the Conte's end of Conte's reign, because I think it does have a reflection on the where Tottenham are now at the moment, and I think that stems back to Conte with all the changes we've made within the squad, all the deadwood out. Then was Conte right in what he said at his press conference before he got sacked?
He was right about a lot of them. I don't think he was right to throw every single player under the bus, but there was a lot of them, and we have got rid of some of them. Not all of them. Some of them are still here, but the majority or a large percentage of them have gone and moved on. With Kulu, we know that he's a good player. We know that he can turn it on when he wants to. But once again, it's about the system. And as you kind of said, man, it's like Ange likes his pacey wingers. It's obvious to everyone. Ange likes his pacey wingers. It's probably the same reason he's getting rid of Hill as well. Yeah. He's got a certain type of winger he wants. And Kulu, unfortunately for him, just doesn't have that. Now, as you said, we could play him in the centre. And I think that there is an argument that he could be kept to rotate with Maddison, because we know that Maddison, as good as he is, can easily go off the boil as well. He's quite inconsistent. Maddison is as well. Yeah, so I think there is still a place for Kulu, but as you said, he might not be happy if he expects to start every game, which he might feel that that's where he is in his career. Then Ange isn't going to promise him that because he's not better than Maddison. I don't think. I think he's not. I don't think he's as good as Maddison. Not in that role anyway. So
I've got a bit of breaking news on this Kulu deal. Things have changed in the last couple of minutes, so I'm going to press the breaking news button. I'll give it to you straight away. I love that. That's the best one I did. I did one last year. There's no match on that one. And Ange looking in his GTA gear. I think that looks quite cool. Ange playing GTA. Imagine Ange in GTA, could you?
I'd play it.
Yeah, so would I, actually.
I'd play it.
Napoli are talking with Spurs for Kulu. Both clubs are trying to find a middle ground on the fees. So that is the latest we're getting. Well, I'm getting. So how would Kulu's departure affect Tottenham Hotspur's attacking options and the overall squad depth? I don't think it would adjust it too much, in my opinion, TEQUILA. I think we're bringing players in. I think we've got enough up front. We are bringing in a striker. More about that in a minute, because I've got news on Ivan Toney and who Tottenham might be going for.
Yeah.
But how would Kulu's departure affect Tottenham's attacking options?
Well, let me ask you this, Dermo. What do you think is Kulu's best position? I think you're going to say on the wing. That's where he primarily has played in his career, isn't it?
Do you know what? I think his best position is the number 10 role. where Maddison plays.
Well, that's
think
what I mean.
more
Then
effective
I can see reasons to keep him. Then, if that's where his future is, I can see reasons to keep him, and I don't really understand why we are selling him.
But does
in
he
that
want
way.
to play there? That's the
Well,
question.
that's it. If he sees himself as a winger, and also he because he's a slower player. I'm not saying he's a slow player. He's a slower player than Brendan Johnson and Timo Werner. Right? He's slower than them. So he might feel like I want to go back to Italy as well. Could be one of the reasons why the Villa thing maybe hasn't gone round, because maybe it's like, you know what, my game is more suited to the slow, because Italy's a slower league. Maybe he feels that.
Look, I'd be sad to see him go, but I don't think Kula had one good season. I don't think he covered himself in any glory in Conte's last season. None of the players did, to be fair.
Not many of them did, no.
I don't think he covered himself in glory last season either. There was games we're tearing our hair out with him. And there was times where we're getting so frustrated with him. And Ange had to play him because he had no other option.
Yeah, like I say, his first 6 months, Dermo, that's what you're on about. The first 6 months, he was a breath of fresh air because we lacked.
He was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, we lacked a player like him. But nowadays, if you look at the squad, we don't really. I wouldn't say he's become surplus because he's still good enough to be in the squad. I just think it's just his attributes, Dermo. It's just his.
He's not a starter, is he? He's not a starting 11.
Not over Maddison. If not over Maddison, no.
Yeah, and if he does leave the club, how will Tottenham fans react to the news of Kulu going? Will it be a bit like Højbjerg's, a bit Marmite? You like him or you don't like him, or do you think that there'll be a bit more? Do you know what? Is this a good deal? Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean, I thought the Højbjerg fee was a bit low. I know that Højbjerg was in his last year, and I'm assuming that's the reason. I still think 14 million today's market for an international player like Højbjerg, even if he has got 1 year. I mean, the fact that we didn't even get 20 million seems a bit crazy to me. But
no, it is 20 million. There is news that it is 20 million.
Is it 20 million?
Yeah,
well, that would be the minimum. Okay, so that would be the minimum I would take for Højbjerg. But with Kulusevski, obviously, is a younger player as well. So if we can get nearly in the 40 million ballpark, I suppose it's good business. If it goes to 40 million, I suppose in the market it's good business. Would we use the 38 million or whatever to get a replacement winger? Because I'm assuming that's what we would go and do. We'd go and get another winger.
Well, there is talk about that. I mean, look, I want to go through some of the comments here, Tequila, right? We've got Louis said Kulu was too predictable and annoying to watch. I think that's a bit harsh.
I wouldn't say he's annoying to watch, but he is predictable.
Right. I'm just getting some more. I love these shows because I'm constantly getting updates from our source. Constantly. I mean,
Dermo's doing the equivalent of standing outside the training ground at 10 p.m. talking to Harry Redknapp as he leaves the training ground.
I tell you, transfer deadline day, right? We've got to do a sketch with somebody at the car window.
We do, yeah. Somebody who looks like Harry. We need to find somebody who looks a bit like Redknapp and can do a decent impression of Redknapp as well.
Yeah.
You can start talking about Nico Crenshaw and feels like that.
Yeah. We're going to have to, or get you somewhere. We have to do something along them. Spurs, look, this is the latest I just got from him, guys. Spurs are focusing on their main position targets, a striker, which we're going to talk about in a minute, a winger and a midfielder. That makes sense for Kulu leaving the club.
Yeah.
If possibly two fullbacks. They're also in the market for a centre half, but prioritising other positions first. So, look, me and Tequila are going to do a pre-record, and I think Friday we'll do it, Tequila, if we can, and get it out for over the weekend. And it's about an Ange trust. Should the Spurs fans trust the transfer team? And I think they should. I've got my say in it. You'll have probably a different view in it. That's why I want to do it with you, because you and me will have two different views in it. We may do it as a live show. I don't know yet, guys, but that is something that's coming up. We've got the Hotspur Lounge. He says Kulu's way too left-footed and he's made his game too predictable. I would definitely agree there. Yeah. But I won't let him leave because he's a good option for the squad. He's still very technical quality player. We're not questioning his quality. We're not questioning his technical brilliance as a player. But I just think it keeps coming up again. he's left-footed, and he's too predictable. So it keeps coming up, doesn't it? It keeps creeping. Do you know?
I like my wing. When I think of a winger or a traditional winger, then you think somebody who's got pace and tricks. Now he's got a trick in him. He does have a trick in him. Maybe he's not super flair player, but he's got a trick in him.
Yeah.
And he's a good finisher. He's a good passer of the ball. I think he did very well in our last game last season when he was playing up front. I'm not suggesting that he becomes a striker, but I think he did a good job. So that could be. I think as a squad player and somebody you can fill in, I think I would keep him. But I don't think that maybe he would be happy with that. He's going to be on the bench. He's going to be on the bench. If for me, he'd be on the bench every week. He might not be very happy with that at this stage of his career to be on the bench every week.
Letty saying, let's not forget under Conte, Spurs lost to Middlesbrough, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United in domestic cups, and Mora in Europe. And Kulu was part of that squad as well in some of them games as well, by the way. Just to Villa, he says, any more news on Villa Dermo Kulu? The latest I have, and it's just come through in the last few seconds from our Tottenham source, is, as I'm now going to call them, Tottenham are hesitant to send Kulu to any club in England as they don't want to boast rivals. Philip will be here, but please about that. However,
Philip wrote that, Dermo. Make sure that's not Philip writing that.
However, they will sell if the deal is right for Tottenham, but fully expect Kulu to go overseas.
Yeah,
so it's looking like Napoli for me all the way.
Conte wants him back, so I mean Conte must have rated him obviously to get him from Juve. So he always wants to bring him back.
Yeah, we've got Louis says, I love Lang bringing new young players in because we need to build for the future. Yes, we do. I've never seen Kulu take on the ball on his right foot. I haven't either. No. Somebody's here saying, where is it? Lou Cheney Music says, I love Lang bringing in. Read that one. Big up to Wire Sly. Big up, Sly. How you doing? Yeah. And also big up to Peter as well. Hi, all. 421 in Melbourne.
Is he on the night? You're on the night shift again, Peter?
Yeah. So that's cool. Now, this man. Now, sources close to Ivan Toney have said he expects a bid from Spurs to come in before the end of the window. I will get to that, Louis. We have covering that, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Ivan Toney. Look, I have my own thoughts on Ivan Toney. You have your own thoughts as well. But how does Ivan Toney's playing style align with Tottenham's current tactical system? I mean, would he fit into an Ange Ball system?
That's the kind of a little bit of the annoying thing for me. I don't really want him, but it's based on a lot of non-footballing reasons, and it probably shouldn't be, but I kind of can't help it. I don't particularly like how he presents himself in the media, which is down to him and his PR assistant. Because Dermo, you know as well as I do, all these millionaires players, they've all got PR assistants.
Yeah,
they've all got PR assistants, or that their agents have PR assistants, right? So there's always somebody there to kind of tell him what to say and stuff like that. But he hasn't covered himself in glory from the times I've listened to his interviews regarding the whole betting stuff.
No.
He hasn't, in my opinion, he hasn't taken accountability for it.
No.
I don't really want that kind of player playing for my team, but as a footballer, I do think he fits the system pretty well. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the conflict in me.
And if he comes to Tottenham, of course we'll support him. We'll support. We'll get him. But will it be in the back of your mind if he misses an easy chance? Is that a fair comment to make? Would that be in the back of your head?
It would. I think it depends. It depends how often. If he does it once, then shit happens. If he does it a couple of times, your mind can't help but maybe start going there a little bit. You're going to be a little bit, and I'm not saying it's fair because everybody deserves a second chance. Everyone does.
Yeah, of course they do.
But it's a little bit of a conflict of interest. That's kind of one of the reasons why I don't really want him there, because I don't really want to have to handle the stuff that could come out when he does, and he will miss a chance. Everyone misses it sometime.
Of course they do. I mean, he didn't have a great end to the season, did he?
No, he didn't.
Came back, but Major coming back in the middle of the season's hard anyway. He hasn't had a proper pre-season, so you weren't expecting him to, go in all guns blazing. But so, what is a fair transfer fee for Ivan Toney, considering his recent performance and market value? So, what bid price place would it be? Like 40 million plus Reggie going the other way?
Do you know how many years he's got left on his contract? That takes a lot.
I don't, off the top of my head. I think it's 2. My head's telling me 1, but I think it might be 2. But would you think 40 million plus Reggie going to Brentford?
Maybe. I mean, you have to look at it from Brentford's standpoint. If he doesn't sign a contract, and he still hasn't, we're back in like we were with the Harry Kane thing. You kind of have to sell him. If you want to get as much, you kind of have to sell him this window. So I do think he'll leave. And I think this is fair to say, and this maybe again is a little bit of an indictment of the player. He obviously thinks he's above his station a little bit, because I think that he expected Arsenal to come in for him, or I doubt Man City. I doubt he was ever that deluded.
No,
but he obviously expected bigger clubs to come in for him, and none of them.
Tottenham are a big club, so
I'm talking about Arsenal, a league challenging club, which we haven't been. Arsenal finished second for the last 2 years.
But this is why I don't agree. We are a big club.
No, but not to that level. But we haven't challenged for the league. And
that doesn't bother me. Tottenham in the name is as big.
It might not bother you, but it probably matters to him. It might not bother you. He's not a Tottenham fan, is he?
It's the bit that you just. I mean, your reasoning is that Arsenal's a big club because they challenge for the league. Tottenham are a big club because Tottenham are a big club.
Yeah, but
they've got their name precedes them.
Arsenal was 1 game away from winning the title last season, Dermo.
Yeah.
At this minute in time, right? Arsenal are a better pool than we are at this minute in time.
I don't think so. I disagree with you on that.
Okay. I mean, that's fine, but it doesn't matter what you or I think. It matters what Ivan Toney thinks, and all you got to do really is listen to him, and you'll see that he was waiting for one of the big boys, the big boys, and none of the big boys have come in for him.
Yeah.
And so, but he expected him to, and they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, Colin says his contract expires in 2025, which is the end of next season, so he's got a year left. And he's also flirting with the idea of moving to Old Trafford. I mean, would you call Man United a big club because they haven't been challenged?
Not currently. They've got obviously all the history of all their, how they dominated the league, but no, they've fallen down the pecking order, and even Khan would admit that they've fallen down the pecking order. At this moment in time, are they a more attractive prospect than Spurs? Probably not, but it's not miles away either. It's a little bit like Liverpool. Like Liverpool are kind of like, because they were such a successful club over how many years. When they drop down a little bit, they still have a little bit more pull than they should. I'm not saying Tottenham don't have pull. Of course we do, but Man United, whether we like it or not, and Coleman and I will agree with this, they still won a trophy for the last 2 years. 2 years in a row.
I just look. I think names and traditions go hand in hand with how big you are as a name and as big you are as a club.
Well, I had this conversation a little bit with Gary Becks, who isn't in the chat tonight, and it's okay to disagree. I mean, I'm not looking at it from what we did in the 60s and stuff like that. I'm not. I can't be. I wasn't alive for it. I wasn't alive for it.
You should always take what we've done before and cherish that, because that is the foundations you build your club on.
Yeah, but I'm putting myself, Dermo, I understand. As Spurs fans, I get it. But I'm putting myself in... If Ivan Toney was a Spurs fan, I'd agree with you. He's not.
Well, not many players that join us are Spurs fans. So that for you think we're a small club.
I don't. I never said we're a small club. I just don't think we're a big club as the diehards think that we are. That's all. There's a difference. I don't think we're a small club.
Look, we are a big club.
I never said we weren't, but in Ivan Tony's mind, he was expecting somebody who challenges for the league every year to come in for him. This was my point, and they didn't.
Yeah,
that's all I meant. But Ivan Toney doesn't care though. He's not a Spurs fan. If anything, I think he might be an Arsenal fan.
He is an Arsenal fan, but
that's even worse. Well, that's what I mean. And he probably thought they were going to. That was the point. He probably thought they were going to, and nobody has. So what's happening is, and this won't sound very good from his perspective or our perspective. It's like.
But look, he's a striker.
He is, but do you want a player who's settling for Spurs?
We need a striker, and he does bang goals in. I mean, you look at his time when he's not settling for Spurs. I mean, he has options on the table, and we're one of his options. If he likes the project that Angie's got, and he likes the way we play, and he thinks, oh, hang on, if I go to that team, I'm going to score loads of goals in that team, then you go there, because then you will be successful. And that's all it's about. It's about being successful. It's about being a part of something that's going to bring you glory at the end of the day. And we're at the start of from last season, at the start of building the foundations to take us, as I said at the start, to the promised land. And just because we haven't been challenging, I mean, we were challenging on the Poch. We got to a Champions League final. You know, there's years I can remember back in the late 80s that we were struggling. The 90s were woeful. We were struggling. But Tottenham were a big club. If we would not have got Jurgen Klinsmann, if we weren't a big club, and Jurgen Klinsmann was a World Cup winner, and we were doing pretty pathetic then. We were dicing relegation the season before under Ozzy Adilles. We went to Oldham, needed a win to escape relegation. I'm just trying
to put myself in a position of today's footballer.
Yeah,
that's it. Today's footballer who has no ability, who has no loyalty for Spurs.
No player has no loyalty, I think, to any club. To be fair,
well, there's a couple. There's not many.
There's not many. I mean, loyalty in football now is a very few and far between. Could you say Harry Kane was loyal? He was up to a point.
He stayed longer than he probably should have. I think that's probably fair to say.
Would you think the likes of Roy Keane was loyal to Man United during his time? Probably was to the end. You could look at players back in the 70s and 80s. Players were more loyal to clubs than back then. But I think as the money has got bigger and the wages have got bigger and the more revenue players can make has got bigger from even the commercial side. I think players are now thinking more, how much money can I make? Where years ago in the 70s and 80s, when I was a young kid watching football, even the 90s as a teenager, into my 20s, players played football because they love playing football. And there's still players love playing football. But when a player reaches a certain age, their main priority is to make themselves comfortable for the rest of their lives. And I think wages are way out of control. I think transfer fees are way out of control, TEQUILA. And I think something has to be done about it, because you cannot have a system and a model or a balloon that keeps pouring more money into it. The balloon gets bigger and bigger. The balloon's going to burst one day. And a lot of clubs are going to be in financial ruin. So if you look, take his transfer example, right? 50 million, it's a transfer fee. Is Ivan Toney worth 50 million, in your opinion?
I suppose if you want to compare our last big striker we bought, who's Richarlison, who was more or less 50 million, rising to 60, then I think he's a better player than Richarlison. He's certainly a better goal scorer than Richarlison.
Right. Is Richarlison worth 60 million, what we paid for him?
No, we overpaid by about 30 million. I think Richarlison was worth 30 million. So. Exactly.
You look at players now, ordinary players going for nearly 100 million, TEQUILA.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane. So you can't blame the player. He will go to which club is going to pay him the most money. And that's what it boils down to the end of the day.
Right, so,
it boils down to one thing, and it boils down. Tottenham are going to offer me 200 grand a week.
I hope not.
Arsenal can offer me 220. Manchester United can offer me 300,000. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to the club's going to offer you the most money, aren't you?
You got to look at it from his where he is. Also, it depends where the player is in his career, because he's 28 or 29.
Yeah, 28. So
this is probably his last big contract. Let's say if he signs a 5-year contract, this is his last big contract. So this is the time where, for him, with all due respect to Brentford, who I'm sure have given him a lot of money, but it won't be in the same ballpark as what this contract. He's become an England international now. Granted, he only played 5 minutes, I think, or 10 minutes the whole tournament. But still, he's become an England international during this period. So this is going to be his big and best chance to get as much money. So he is going to be looking for the money. I'm not saying that every player does it. There are some who are more orientated than others, but also, like I say, it depends where they are in their career. If you're a younger player, I think you care maybe a little bit less, because and I think that you've got many more years ahead of you. With Ivan Toney, I'm not saying he's going to retire when he's 32, but he knows this is probably his big chance to make as much money as he can.
Yeah, and it boils down to money. And that is the thing. I mean, years ago, a player was moved to the club because of the reputation of the club and what that club did. For me, Tottenham still carries a big name around the world. So does every club in the Premier League, you could say. But Tottenham are one of the top 6. They're one of the founding members of the Premier League. Then Arsenal, I think, was Manchester United, Liverpool, I think. I can't remember who the top 6 were, who founded the Premier League. Tottenham are a big club. They've got a rich history.
I do think they are a big club.
It's like Newcastle, right?
They're a big club, though, Mo, but that doesn't mean that they're as big as they've got as much pull as like a Liverpool or
look,
teams like that.
You look at Newcastle, haven't won anything since the 1950s or late 60s. They won one trophy in 50-something years, nearly.
Yeah.
We've everyone goes on, we haven't won a trophy since 2008. But between 2008 now, how close have we been to winning trophies? How many finals or semi-finals have we been in? How many times could we have won the Premier League? Twice. How many times should we have beat? We lost to Man United on penalties the following year. We won the League Cup. We got to an FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea and lost 4-2 because Pochettino was tactically outmastered. We got to a Champions League final. We had no right to be in that Champions League final. We got there because we were lucky. And I stand by that. But we got there. And what did we do? We started a player that was half fit. Do you know, if we had, and we were in the League Cup, we sacked a manager 6 days before a cup final. So if you think about it, we could have won 2 League Cups, an FA Cup, a Champions League and 2 Premier Leagues since 2008. And it's always, for me, it's a kick here or a kick there. And I think if you look at that, you look at the majority of teams that have won silverware. We have been in there, round about there, some of them years, TEQUILA. And the majority of teams that's won the league has been Man City, to be fair. I mean, they won the League Cup 4 years in a row. They've won the league 4 years in a row.
Depending on what you class as the top 6, and I think we've probably got the same 6 teams in there. But if you regarding the top 6 in England, which I do think we are, I do think we're 6, which you might not agree with, but I think we are there. All of those other 5, if it's the same teams, have won stuff. And we have they've had periods of time where they have won the Premiership and challenging for them on a consistent basis.
Right. Here's my top 6.
Okay.
I'm not going to put them in order. I'm just going to say the names. Okay. Tottenham, Liverpool, Manchester United, Man City, Chelsea, and then lot down the road.
Yeah, it's the same 6 as me.
That's my top 6.
Yeah.
And then the next teams out of that, Newcastle are knocking on the door. Aston Villa are knocking on the door.
Yeah.
I don't think Aston Villa are going to be a much of a force this season as well last season. I think they're going to fall down the same trap.
They might do the same thing
Newcastle did.
Yeah, they might do, yeah.
Bit up to Wilton. Wilton makes a very good point. He says modern day footballers are not loyal. I think Ledley King's generation, I think it is the last. And I think that is true, actually, to be fair. The money being banded around in wages and fees is criminal, and the game will eventually get worse for it. I think this is a man who, to be fair, has been watching Tottenham longer than I have. And Wilton told me a funny story, Tequila. Ian Walker was in goal. Do you remember Ian Walker?
Yeah, I remember Ian Walker.
Yeah. Wilton chucked his telly out the window because Ian Walker made a cock up. Now, it's the funniest story I've ever heard in my life. Now, I think it went into a swimming pool. But Ian Walker
hope nobody was swimming at the time. Yeah.
Ian Walker has that effect of him. And when Wilton told that story, I pissed myself laughing. Every time I see him, I just have visions of him, Ian Walker, making an absolute Horlicks and him getting his telly and chucking it out the window. I mean, he's a legend anyway. Wilton
I hope he didn't throw a TV out every time Ian Walker made a blunder like that, because he would never have a TV. He'd break one, or order a new one, and then throw it out the next week.
We've got Colin Cross, big up my Celtic cousin. Evening, boys. We have now given Tequila Irish citizenship, so he's now a Celt. He's a Celtic man.
I'm Scottish, English, and now Irish.
Yeah,
so there we are.
Yeah.
Just got to find somebody to make me Welsh, and I've got the full set.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a Welsh farmer's daughter somewhere you could marry.
Farmer's daughter, Dermo, really?
Well, if you listen to Seamus Moore in the van, he marries a farmer's daughter from Mullingar. But there you go. Colin agrees with you, Tequila. Don't agree with me. He agrees with you. He says, agree, Tequila. Big club, never. Elite, apart from the early 60s.
Yeah, that's why that's why we've kind of been known as a cup team and not a league team.
We've always been a cup team, to be fair. But if you look at it, this is a true fact, Tequila, right? Between 1951 and 1991, Tottenham won a trophy at the start of every decade.
I know there was that thing about when there's a one in the year, we always win something.
These are the trophies they've won with the year and the ending in the one, right? And there's no coincidence, right? 1901, 21, 61, 71, 81, 91.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I've never disputed the fact that I never said that we weren't a big club. I'm just trying to put in myself as best I can.
Oh, I get what you're getting at. In
the mindset of a footballer, especially a footballer of who's 29 years old. So when he was growing up, right? He obviously, if he is an Arsenal fan, and speculate, I don't know if he is, but if he is an Arsenal fan, that means he probably grew up right when they were winning all the bloody titles. So when he was a kid growing up in his fandom, he saw Arsenal winning the title or trading it with Man United, right? The last thing on his mind was probably thinking about Spurs. Not only did he probably dislike them because he's an Arsenal fan, but also we were more or less mid-table during that period and not doing a thing. Yeah. So that's probably etched in his mind. And a lot of the players, I think we're improving, but I'm just trying to put myself in the mind of Ivan Toney as much as I can. He may still sign for us, but my point at the start of all this was just that he probably was thinking that bigger boys in his mind, and the key thing is in his mind, were going to come in for him, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And so when I say he's settling for Spurs, it means it's kind of like, well, none of the clubs I really wanted came in for me, so now I'll listen to Spurs. I don't like how that sounds, but that's how it might be. And are you going to be okay with that if that ends up being true? He's not going to come out and say it publicly, is he? But
no.
How would you feel? I suppose I'll sign for Spurs. It's not really what I wanted. I expected something better. It's not a nice feeling, is it? Or
no. Look, I just worked out how many trophies Tottenham won between 1951 to 2008 since we won our last trophy, right? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We won 13 trophies between 1951 and 2008.
Yeah.
And you look at Liverpool, they won everything every year between the 70s and early 80s. Nottingham Forest won 2 back-to-back Champions Leagues or European Cup, which it was back in the day.
And Everton had a good team in the 80s as well, didn't they, if I remember correctly?
They did. Aston Villa, they won the league and the European Cup. You know, they won the league and then the European Cup the following year. Everton won the Cup Winners' Cup in '85, but couldn't defend their Cup Winners' Cup trophy because we got banned. The British clubs got banned from Europe because of Arsenal in '85.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed back in, I think, to '92. And the first year that we were back in it, Manchester United won the Cup Winners' Cup in '92. If you look back on history, we do have history to match any club. Since 2008, it's been very difficult to match the big clubs, like the Manchester Uniteds, like the Manchester Cities, like the Chelseas, who had big owners that would spend millions upon millions upon millions upon millions, Tequila. And Tottenham could never compete with that because of what happened to us in the late 80s, early 90s, nearly going out of business. I know that's nearly 30 years ago, but it does play heavy on my mind. And for me, I'm glad you never had to go through that, Tequila, as a fan. As a fan, I'm glad you never had to go through that because as a fan, that's the hardest thing to watch your club. You're watching Sky News. Tottenham are still waiting for a takeover. Tottenham are waiting for...
I remember the Alan Sugar stuff a little bit.
Yeah. And for me, it was the hardest time of being a Spurs fan. So all this with Levy, I've been through worse. Yeah, I want us to win trophies. I'm disappointed. Every year we go out the last competition, I'm upset because it's another year without winning a trophy. But I look at the progress we made on the ranch. I look at the progress we've made in the first 2 games in pre-season. I'm optimistic this year we can win a trophy.
Of course
we can get good players in. And it's all about being patient. And I've been there. And I bet there's people in the chat as well that remember them times of waking up, going to bed. I'll be honest with you. I was a young teenager supporting Tottenham Hotspur. I cried going to bed one night. It upset me that much that would we have a football club in the morning to support? And this is why I'm probably not. This is why it would explain why I don't go over the top. Maybe this is why I'm a bit more calmer than some other fans on certain subjects. It doesn't matter. You have your right to your opinion, your right to support the club in any which way you want, shape or form. But maybe I'm a bit more mellowed by it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the wrong way for me to feel, but that's how I feel.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's your perspective. You've lived through, obviously, worse times than we have now. So your perspective, of course, it's going to be slightly different from maybe a younger fan. Yeah. I don't even mean me. I mean younger than I am, who has only known the ENIC era. Of course, they're going to see it slightly different.
Of course, and that's the problem. You've only seen the ENIC era.
I saw a couple of years before it, but not much.
It's like I don't mean to bring politics into it, but it's like people just living through the Tory era, the last 14 years of a Tory government. That's all they know. Well, and it's like the last 20-something years, that's all you've done is ENIC, the good, the bad, and the worst. But, I mean, Colin Cross makes a very good point here. He says, try the relegation year, Dermo. It was hell. Philip remembers them going down.
Yeah, you would have, yeah.
I remember us having to go to Oldham under Ozzy Idealist, needing the victory. Vinnie Samways and Teddy Sheringham scored us the 2 goals. And I'll tell you what, you need to ask games on YouTube, by the way, Tequila. You need to watch it. The pitch, it was the most muddiest. Talk about pitches today. That pitch was hell to play on.
I've seen some of the pictures, yeah.
It was coming up in big lumps. And that, for me, I can't remember how old I was then, back in 92, 93. What? 13, 14. I think around between 13 and 15, I think. And that was hell. Colin's seen us go down. Wilton, McDonald, and Colin and Philip have seen the highs and the lows. Wilton says, Dermot, the TV went over the balcony from 2 floors up. Jesus. He said, thank God no one was passing. I did it because he stood there laughing.
I might remember that minute because I did see Ian Walker. I'm trying to remember what game it was. I saw Ian Walker, and I think I do remember him laughing after letting in a goal. I got like a flash of my memory.
Yeah. Chaz and Dave's year ends in the one great. Chaz and Dave did some great Tottenham songs, Tequila, during the year. So
I remember I do remember Chaz and Dave.
Yeah. One of them passed away. I think it was Chaz that passed away, I think it was. Sure. Colin says Spurs have been waiting 16 years. England have been waiting 58 years. So we're fine, boys.
Yeah, we've still got another like 30 years before we can catch up with that.
Yeah. Colin says, but remember, Dermo, Liverpool never won anything before 1965. You know, Bill Shankly won the...
It goes through cycles, doesn't it? We had the United years and then the Liverpool years, and now it's the City years. Whether we like it or not, they are the dominant force. So,
Wilton said, yes, we may not have won trophies like Man United, Liverpool, etc., but the record shows we are the first British club, and this is the point. We were the first British club to win a European Cup and to do the double after Preston North End in the 1800s.
See, I agree, and I think I've started a little bit of a thing that I didn't mean to. All I was really saying, guys, was from Ivan Toney's perspective.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do, Tequila, is trying to immerse you in the club's history as a fan, as a young fan. We're trying to pass down our knowledge to you. You're the next generation. Of Tottenham fans.
I'm not even that much younger than you, bro. You know.
Yeah, but do you know? Get my point, though.
I just started watching late. I got into football later than most kids did.
But we're not trying to belittle you. We're not trying to make. We're trying to immerse you and pass on the traditions of the club. I know.
We're so passionate. But I'm not disagreeing with you, Dermo. I know you're not. I'm not. Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I do think Spurs are a big club. I'm looking at it from Ivan Toney's perspective.
I think it's a very good perspective to look at as well. To be fair to Gila, it's a very good point. But I think the point you spun it on was it was about the top 6 and where we stood in that top 6. And
I put a 6. Yeah, I do put a 6 behind the other.
If you look financially between us and the rest of the top 6, you take Man City's nation's money away from them, right?
Yeah.
Financially, Tottenham are the most well-financed club in the Premier League.
Let me put it this way, right? I mean, look at those top 6, right? If you get rid of all money, like you said, where Tottenham, in my mind, and only my mind, it's only my opinion, we are a bigger club than Man City. We are a bigger club than Chelsea. Yeah. I think the other 3 ahead of us, you can make an argument about Arsenal. I think Liverpool and United are bigger clubs for sure.
Yeah,
than us.
They are.
So out of just looking at it just for fan base, and in my mind, I think we're probably 3rd or 4th, close to Arsenal, getting all the money out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only because Man City are being backed by a nation.
Yeah,
and that's the truth.
It is. Yeah.
And Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea. I still don't know if Chelsea are a club or a circus. I'm still trying to work that out at the moment.
I don't know what they are anymore. I don't think they know what they are either.
Could you imagine, right? We've supported, I'm 42 years supporting Tottenham. You're in your 30 years supporting Spurs now, I would say, Tequila, right? And you've got Wilton and you've got Colin Cross and you've got people in here that supported Tottenham for longer than we have. Philip Brady must have supported Tottenham for nearly 60 years.
He has been around a while, hasn't he?
Yeah. And you look at that, and you look at the Chelsea fans that supported Chelsea the same, that when they were in the old Stamford Bridge, saved the bridge, and there for the bad times. And Man City as well, that were down in Division 3 at one point.
Yeah, I remember.
If Todd Bowley and the who owns is it Saudi? No, is it Abu Dhabi that owns
It's a
Man
crown
City?
prince. It's a crown prince, isn't it? I forget his name.
Oh yeah, is it
Crown
Abu
Prince.
Dhabi? Is it or Bahrain? Anyway, whatever. It's one of them Middle Eastern countries. Anyway,
Yeah.
if they pulled the money out of their clubs, right, and then clubs suffer, do you think the fans that are supporting Man City and Chelsea now will still be there? It'd be all that would be left there is the fans that have been there through thick and thin.
Yeah, the hardcore fans. Yeah.
The hardcore fans.
You know as well as I do, Dermo, that the fair weather fans, I think, is the name of them. These are the fans who like the winners. So it's the fans who, not particularly from abroad, although some of them maybe a higher percentage is from abroad. They will latch on to whoever wins the most games, which is obviously City.
It is. We need to get on with the rest of the track. I tell you, I enjoyed that conversation. There's a show in that as well, Tequila, by the way.
Oh, you guys just like beating on me because I'm so young. And
no, we don't. We're trying to educate you. We're trying to look after you and wrap you with all the memories that we have that we can share onto you. That we to show you that you're one of us. You're one of us, Tequila.
I appreciate it, guys. I will listen to any education. I'd like to believe I do anyway.
But I tell you one thing, it was a great conversation. I really enjoyed that. And it was great. The chat, it was great. That's a good point. You got something, Tequila. Well done.
Let's put a bow on this Tony thing. Yay or nay, Dermo? Simple as that. I say nay. I think I'm going with nay.
I'm going to go for yes because I can't go same as you. I just think we need a striker. And if
we do need a striker, you're right.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be your first choice, though, would he?
No, he wouldn't be. It'd be the lad from.
Gimenez.
Juventus.
Oh, Vlad. Yeah, he'd be my choice as well. Yeah, I wish.
Yeah. Colin says we're doing the masonry work. Oh God. Wilton said, Tequila, I do understand you personally. I would take Tony because I don't think there is any others out there that will give you 20 plus goals a season. Exactly. He can with the right players around him.
As I said, Wilton, it's not really about his footballing ability because I think we know he's got that.
Yeah. My first game was 1958 at the Lane.
Oh.
Wow. He was there for the double side. John White.
I don't even think my mum was born by then. Jesus.
No, so he saw Jack White, Danny Blanchflower, Dave Mackay, Billy Brown, Jimmy Greaves, Terry Dyson.
Seen it all, Dermo, hasn't
he? Seen the arrival of Stevie Perriman as a youngster, Martin Shivers, Pat Jennings, Cyril Knowles.
So Colin Cross, if you don't mind me asking you, Colin Cross, then I wonder how he thinks of like the whole ENIC era because he literally has seen us win at our best and he's seen us at our worst. Which not many people alive have that luxury to say they've seen us at our best and they've seen us at our worst.
I've had this idea for a show: Philip Brady, Colin Cross, and Wilton McDonald, and you and me, and just us sitting there and listening to the stories and the memories that them three legends could come up with.
You could do like a round table, don't we?
Yeah. I swear to God. Wilton says, guys, I'm 75, so I'm the sermon that, wow.
You've seen the best and the worst.
What was your first game you saw Tottenham play? I would love to know that. Gerard says a big no.
What, for Tony?
Yeah. Okay. Archibald, we're going to get to that. Right, now, the young kid, Tottenham are closing in on a deal to sign 2006 born winger. Right, I have to get this right. Ming Young. Now, you have a crack at it, Tequila.
I'm not even going to try it, mate. You've already butchered it. I can't do any better, though, to be fair.
What we're going to call him? Should we call him Ming Yang?
Just call him Min Yang. I don't think you want to use the word Huck because I don't even know if that's how it's pronounced. That is Min and Yang. I'm pretty sure that is how you say. Just say Min Yang. There you go.
Min Yang, yeah. From Gangwon Gangwon FC, agreement being completed, and then this medical test to follow. The rumor is that he's got, not the rumor, but I think the deal is he's going to go back to January. And I think then he's joining Spurs from January. He was a recommendation from Sonny. This is a wonder kid. This is a kid that's the next best thing out of South Korea.
Well, we'd hope, hopefully, obviously, Ange has seen him, or Sonny's shown him tape of him, obviously, because obviously Ange knows the Asian market quite well, of course, from his time. So, it's so hard, isn't it? Because we don't really know anything about him, so we have to hopefully Sonny's got his Sonny's going to make a good scout. Hopefully, Sonny scouted him.
Yeah, hopefully. Now, this is the latest. You've got a bit more update as well, guys, but there is a midfielder and, of course, a defender being worked on other than the Korean wonder kid, who is very close. So there's 3 deals that could come out this week. So all these fans that are getting, we're doing no business, and things are happening. We've just got to be patient. That's all we can do. Tottenham are pushing for Mount, I know, and over McTominay. Fulham are pushing hard for the Scotsman. Spurs have turned their attention to the out-of-favour English midfielder. You want to know about Mount and McTominay, who we are supposed to be in for as well. Don't you fear. We have a show tomorrow night. Colin, who is a Man United fan, is joining me to talk about just this.
I'm so happy that I'm off tomorrow, and you can deal with what Com's going to bring you with his laughing, because he's going to be laughing a lot.
Yeah. So look.
Go on then, Dermo. Which one of these two do you want? I mean, I'm going to no to both. That's me. I don't want either. But if I had to choose one,
if you had to push for one, who would it be? If you had to push for one, I'd go for McTominay.
I think I would as well, but it's very close.
Close.
I mean, at least McTominay's got. At least he can play as a striker.
Look, I'm going to put this in the podcast on Friday. This is going to be a poll. This will be a poll. If you haven't signed one already, this will be a poll.
I want to ask the chat, Dermo. Is anyone in the chat? And be honest, it's okay. Does anyone in the chat want either of these 2 players?
Well, Colin said no.
And if you do, could you tell us? Could you give us a reason? Because I can't.
No. Okay. And also, Kulu and Solomon could leave, so it opens up space. Kulu, from my source, because see, this the bit I put in, I can see him going the ball personally. It's just my opinion. A quick question, Tequila. If you're all right for 5 more minutes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Just a very quick question. Could Mount signing signal a potential departure of any existing Tottenham players? And if so, who?
I mean, where would you play him? Where would you say Mount's best position is? Centre mid?
Yeah, I would say so.
So, assuming that we did get him, who would that spell the end of? Bissouma? I mean, we just got rid of Højbjerg. Would you? Okay, so surely you wouldn't think Mason Mount would be a replacement for Højbjerg, would you?
No, I don't think so.
So then, because I think
McTominay would be a replacement for Højbjerg because he plays the number 6.
So he's a defensive midfielder. How would you feel about that then? We got rid of Højbjerg and brought in McTominay. Don't act too excited.
Højbjerg, please come back. Do not stop for Marseille.
Well, there we are then. You might as well keep Højbjerg if that's what we're going to do.
Apparently, me and Tequila are going over on a mercy mission to Marseille to bring back Højbjerg.
Yeah, bring him back. All's forgiven, mate.
Yeah. All right. He barely plays number 6. Well, that's just my reckoning.
Great.
Bits is getting the boot, says Gerard O'Connor. That's be interesting. Skip would go there then. Well, I don't know. Skip's playing.
No, we've got to keep Skip because of the whole English quota thing. That's why we got to keep him, unfortunately.
Big up to the Hotspur Lounge. Why are they being linked? Well, both of them, they're quite underwhelming. And McTominay is like a ghost in most matches. Mount has not been the same since he left Chelsea, and he has a lot of injuries. Yeah, that's so true.
Well, you can ask Com. Com will admit it. He might not admit it right now because he's too busy laughing. But You asked United fans what they really think of McTominay and Mount, and you'll get an idea of how good they are.
Yeah, at the moment, Colin is laughing so hard he's rolling around his sitting room floor, right?
Yeah.
Tears running down his face, and his
He's
missus
got carpet
is
burned. He's
him,
rolling around so much.
Right? Yeah, Mrs. Colin is looking at him, thinking, "What the hell are you laughing at?" He's told her, and she's on the floor laughing because they're just laughing at Tottenham.
Everybody's going to be laughing if we sign one of them.
You and me are just crying.
You know what? I don't think we'll sign Mount because he's on so much wages. Levy ain't going to pay those wages.
Yeah,
we're not going to pay. What is it? I think Con told me 250. Are we really going to? No.
Well, Wilton says I was a schoolboy, and I think it was Sheffield Wednesday. Gary Megson's dad was the centre half, but I only used to go to home games like a funds. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough in those days. Big up to Gary Becks. Evening, gentlefolk. Evening, gentlefolk. Colin is saying
don't read it. He's trolling. Look at it.
They're both amazing players. They're £100 million players. Each bargain for you guys. Yeah. Have you and Mrs. Colin still finished laughing? Are you still rolling about from the floor and giggles? Right. One question. Look, Man City. Now, I got this evening. I will read it out to you. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to end the show on this, and it gives the guys something to think of. And let me find it. So just talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
I think we're all caught up in the chat. Let's have a look.
Did I do it there?
I'm not reading that one again, Com. You can go away. Neil Shafton, the Irish Wexican.
Yeah, that's me.
And we're a slide saying from the rumours we're pushing for British midfielder McTom, Mount, Gallagher, Ramsey. Yeah, or not move me, so I will be judged on the fee we have to pay him. I mean, out of those four you mentioned, I mean, this is it, right? I think Gallagher's a good player, and I am fed up with that story because it never goes away. But if it's Gallagher or Mount or McTominay, Gallagher all day long.
Yeah, that's true. Now, this story here, Tequila, this has made my teeth itch, right? Okay. Now, we all know Manchester City are in trouble. They've been charged by the FA with so many 300 charges of
should be
playing loose with their money. I mean, it's like they've let Tequila in, the raccoon in, and Tequila's taken all the money. He's went to the local casino and he's played loose and fast with it. That's what's happened, right? And Man City have got done for it, and the keys sitting Yeah. Anyway, if Manchester United, you could see Colin putting in quite quickly. If Man City, right? If Man City received a points deduction, example, 60 to 100 points. It looks like it will be split over a course of a season, not issued in one lump sum. For example, a 100-point deduction will be a season 1 30 points, season 2 30 points, season 3 30 points, and the final 10, either in the season or season 3 or season 4. Now, we are going. This is the main story for the podcast on Friday.
Yeah,
Tequila. I mean, very quickly. I mean, that is ridiculous. If that's the way, I've got a question here for you on it, right? And is it there? No, I've done it on another thing for Friday. But basically, the question is, if this is true, the Premier League are a mockery. And it's like open house. You can do what you want, lads. The Premier League not going to do a damn thing to you.
Well, if they take this stance with the points deduction over a period of 3 or 4 years, number one is if they're going to do it over 4 years, surely it should be 25 points for 4 seasons. I'm not sure why they're doing 30 points for 3 and then just 10 for the last. That's just simple maths. You're going to split it in 4 years. It's 25 each year, right? Yeah. That's first thing is that's very strange. Second thing is, it will most likely mean that City won't win a title for 4 years. That will be a good thing for the Premiership overall. But City, even if you take 25 points from City, to be honest, they'll probably still finish in the top 4. They won't win the league, but they'll still probably finish in the top 4. So how penalised is that? You're still going to probably qualify for the Champions League because they are that good. So revenue-wise, it's not actually going to affect them that much because they'll still probably get in the top 4. They just won't win a title.
Can I just say, this is only speculation. This is not what's going to happen. This was given to me by my source, who I know is a very 100%. I'm not going to read out Neil Shafton about Philip. I think that's a bit unfair. I think that's a bit unfair, but it's funny.
It's funny. I'm not gonna bring it up, Neil Shafton. No, I'm not gonna click on that either. Out of respect.
In case he's watching, in case he might shoot us.
Because it'll be me and Dermo who has to hear the rant.
It won't be you, Neil. You get away with it. You'll be sitting home laughing. Unfair on 60. You could be part of the Brady Bunch if you want.
You could join in if you want, mate.
Look, so this is only speculation. This was just one of this is just one of the sign-ups. What's the word I'm trying to look for, Tequila? One of the ways it could work out. So it's not guaranteed.
Potential, isn't it? Potentially.
Yeah, it's potential. I mean, for me, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
It's not. I don't think it's harsh enough. I want to see them go. If you want to get them out of the way and not win the title for 4 years, which that is what you are achieving with that, then why don't you just relegate them to Division 2? That'll take them 4 years to get back.
I tell you why. Because the EFL don't want to take them. So where are you going to put them?
They're spineless, aren't they? Well, the thing is, it's a bit of a kind of a split thing because what will happen is that the league might not want them, but I bet you if you ask the small clubs, especially in Division 2 or even Division 1, League 1, they know that it's going to be a big pay. Yeah, because it's going to be a big payday. Whenever they host them, they're going to get more fans than normal, and whenever they go to the Etihad, they're also going to get So financially, I would imagine a lot of the smaller clubs are like, yeah, all right, bring them in. But it'll be a big payday for us when we play them.
I've just realised we're 100 off 1961 on our subs, Tequila. That was the year we did the double.
I know you're going to do that. Well, once you get there, Dermo, you have to do a celebration once it gets to 1961.
Once we get to 1901, we have to. That's the year we won the FA Cups and on league side. We're going to go through the year. Spurs won something every time we go up into the.
Once we pass this marker, you can do a different,
Yeah. Well, once we get to 1882, we can celebrate Tottenham Hotspur Day. But last night was a bit of a milestone for us, wasn't it, Tequila? You're the one that copped it, not me. It was our 1,000th.
Yeah, it was actually. If you look, I don't know if it's stream or videos. If you look on our channel, you'll see that the show we did yesterday was our 1,000th video on the channel anyway. So I don't know. It's probably not the 1,000th stream because there's other shows on there, but 1,000 videos from Dermo and the boys. So you need to give them guys a lot of credit. They've been doing it before I joined. For how many years have you been doing it? 3 years?
So it'd be 3 years in August, the 26th. I think we're 3 years old.
There you go. That's 1,000 videos in 3 years. That's nearly a video every day, Dermo.
That's 3 years of people listening to me talk. Jesus,
I know. World's gone crazy.
I'm quite shocked. It is crazy.
I mean, I'm talking to them now. I mean, who would have thought that I'm actually talking to people?
I started on a phone. That's how I did my first stream, on a phone. I did my first couple, and then I bought this dodgy laptop. I mean, it was dodgy. I mean, it was so dodgy. I had to hold the charger in to do streams, so that if I let it go, the charger, it wouldn't work.
I haven't seen some of your early stuff. I'm going to have to go back and have a look now for a giggle.
You don't want to know. You don't want to see.
Just to see how bad it was.
It's brutal. I tell you, there was me and Coover was part of the team back then. At one point, right, Coover made me laugh so hard. I literally nearly passed out live on stream from laughing. I literally went that way. I laughed that hard. I nearly passed out. Me and Tequila me and Kuva did a New Year's Eve one, half drunk one New Year's Eve.
That would have been fun. I might have to go and find that.
I don't know if it's still up there. It's been some crack. Gary Beck says, even if half of City's charges stick, they will face expulsion from the league. They will get a Glasgow Rangers style. And that's what I want. If it was good enough for Glasgow Rangers, the same should benefit Manchester City. Wilton, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you so much, Wilton. You're a legend. And then Arthur Daly jumped. Yeah, what's a bit Dale boy? I'm a bit of a Dale boy, apparently.
Can you bring up Neil Shafton's comment? I'll address this. Bless you, Neil. I am not Chinese. My moniker is from an actor called Chow Yun-fat, who you may have heard of. I believe the biggest film he probably did in America was Anna and the King, but he's known for doing a lot of John Woo films, if you know who he is, a lot of Hong Kong films, and he's an action star, and I'm a massive fan of his. So it is not me. I wish that was me. It's not. It's a picture of the actor Chow Yun-fat with his 2 guns. So, but thank you anyway. So my native tongue is English, and I can barely speak that.
It is you. It is you. You are Chinese.
I want to play. Shall I play the role? Shall I? I'll play the role. Even the name Tequila comes from him. He actually.
Yeah, I know. I complained. Red Panda. I know.
Red Panda.
I know. We're gonna have to take this raccoon round the back of the offices.
I could have put him in white. I just had to fiddle with it for a bit. I just didn't have enough time.
But look, I'm gonna have to take it around the back of.
I'm going to be accused of being an Arsenal fan now because my avatar pandas are wearing red.
The Godfather's waiting for you around the back of THFC Towers to have a word with you.
Gary's got it right. See, I'm Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon. That's right.
Yeah. We are gonna look. It is going to change. He is going to go into type the studio I'm in.
Just got to work
eventually.
it out.
We've got to work it out.
Hopefully it works. It should work. I think it'll work. I think I can change the background.
Colin said you look like a corgi, so I'm expecting the Queen or King of England to come calling you. Corgis.
Great.
I thought it was your love for the Mexican drink.
I know. I don't mind the drink. I'm not in love with it, but the character is like he's in love with it. Hence why his name is Tequila. So it works that way.
Yeah. Be careful crossing the road. You wouldn't want to get.
I'm going to change should I change my name to Roadkill then? Should I? Change my name to Roadkill,
we always end the shows on your things.
Yeah,
actually, and it was the big tree behind you that gave it away.
I am good. Oh, yeah.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
Look, thank you for joining me. We've had a cracking show. We're going to end it there. Look, I think the conversation we had about Tottenham and its history and the big club and the top 6 Tequila is actually a show we can do. A debate. I think that would be a very good debate show to have with you and me and Philip and Colin, the 5 of us doing that. Because he's a Man United fan, so he'd be within that top 5. Maybe get Bobby involved in it as well, and have a discussion. Have a discussion about it. I think it's worth having.
We're all fans of the top 6, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
now I am back on later tonight, guys, at 10 o'clock with Transfers Tippet. I am guest hosting tonight because Tequila is partying. He's entertaining a young guest. He hasn't told me who.
Business.
Who he hasn't told me.
It's
who.
a female raccoon. That's what you need to know, damn it.
Ooh. You notice we're staying on.
I'm not going to go into more detail than that because I'll put images in your head of 2 raccoons, So I won't say much more than that.
It's already started.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, even raccoons need love too, don't they?
Oh Jesus! What have I started?
The images are there now. Let it burn into your mind slowly.
I'm trying to get rid of them. Love the podcast. May you continue. Thank you so much. We'll continue as long as you want us to continue. And that's the thing. Now, shafted tequila tastes like a bad vegetable oil. Yeah, it does.
How would you know what it tastes like? God.
Anything you want to say before we go, Tequila? Anything you want to?
Just like thanks for joining us again, guys. I will shout out the
Where
Patreon
can people
as well.
find you, by the way?
I'll shout the Patreon out first, Dermo, then I'll get to my stuff.
Yeah, do that.
We know that times are tough, and we don't expect like everyone to like sub. It's just like because we've lost our YouTube stuff. It's pretty much as soon as I joined, so maybe I'm just a jinx or something. So we've just have to fight YouTube, and we are going to appeal it, but not till August. So in the meantime, if anyone's got any spare bucks to throw away, that would be great. But we're not going to crack on about it. Just a little plug at the start and end of the show. But we understand. Well, at least I understand that times are tough for everybody when it comes to money. Everything costs so much nowadays. So I understand.
I'll give you a quite insight. The 3 memberships are, if I give you just a top, there's a bronze membership for €3. You got the silver membership for $3.50, and you got the gold membership for €4. The gold memberships and the silver memberships get you onto the fan shows, and also
which we're going to start doing
podcasts.
We're going to do them after the we're going to start them on the first game, isn't it? So Monday against Leicester, that game.
So that's it. And where can people find you, sir?
People can find me obviously on here with you lovely guys. Generally 5 days a week or so. Mondays and Thursdays I tend to I have it planned. I suppose is the best way of putting it. But you can also find me on my little gaming show called The Play Pouch, where we do 1 or 2 shows a week where we just talk about the gaming industry. And this week we talked about the Game Pass versus the PlayStation Network, because Microsoft has raised their prices. So again, nobody's got much money. So is it a very nice move? Not really. But we're just talking about that. But thanks again for having me on, Dermo, mate.
No problem. I love having you on. I really enjoyed the shows I do with you. Now, I know we're supposed to be on at 10. I don't know if I will or not. I don't know what, damn it, I will. We'll come on for 10 for about half an hour with all the news from around the Premier League. It's your show, Ready Tequila, but I'm guest hosting it tonight.
Yeah. It to be honest, guys, it was a choice between me and Dermo doing this one, or me and Dermo doing the together, or doing the one the other transfers for the other clubs. And we just thought that because obviously we're all Spurs fans, it made more sense for us to cover the Spurs transfers together because there were so many of them. So that's what we chose.
And any other breaking news for Spurs between now and then, I'll bring it to you live at 10. So just watch this space. Tequila, thank you so much for joining me yet again. I want to thank Neil Shafton, the Hotspur Lounge, Gary Becks for joining us, Colin Cross, Wilt McDonald, the 2 Spurs legends of fans, the Hotspur Lounge, Stephen, big up to Stephen as well. Big up for you joining, DJ Samuel. We've got Jerry O'Connor as well. Big up to Sly. Big up to, and that's it really. Big up to all you've watching. Big up to everyone who's liked. So please like, please subscribe. Let's get up. I want by 10 o'clock tonight, I want to be up by 1,870 subs.
You want 9 subs in an hour and a half? Okay.
9
Go and tell
subs.
your friends, everybody.
Yeah, there's a mission for you. 9 subs in an hour and a half.
Giving them homework, Dermo.
Yeah, if you get there, you will get a tequila surprise.
I don't know if they want that. That might motivate them not to do it, Dermo.
No, there will be, because you like the little Brucey bonus from Play Your Cards Right.
Damn.
Gary says Birmingham were 2-0 up against Rangers. Let's laugh.
I'll make Dermo happy. Yep.
On that bombshell, thank you all for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Come on, you Spurs.
Guys.
In that we trust.